Hello, so got a video today about the modern British 24-hour ration pack compared to the World War II 24-hour ration pack issued to troops later in the war around the D-Day time period. So we're going to start off with the modern day British Army ration pack. This ration pack has been opened and it doesn't contain the original contents as the menu suggests on the front. It has been taken from multiple different ration packs that I've used and put together to make an accurate representation of what it looks like when it's been unopened. Going into the ration pack, the first thing we pull out is this Ziploc bag, clear Ziploc bag. Some of these are completely clear, other ones have instructions printed on the front of them. So we'll have a look at what we have in here. The first obvious thing that we have got in here is a spoon or a spork. So it has got the features of a spoon but also prongs at the end to be used as a fork. You get one of these in each ration pack. Next out is a pack of tissues. Then we have a pack of dental gum or chewing gum. Here we have 2 packets of non-alcohol antibacterial wipes for cleaning your spoon or your hands before you eat and after you eat. We have a packet of waterproof and windproof matches. However, these can be slightly hard to strike with the striker given. You have to put it on a hard surface to be able to properly strike it and get it to work. But once the match is going, it is very, very hard to put out until it's completely burnt, which is a very positive thing for if you're out on a windy, wet or any day like that where you need to try and get your stove started. So here we have the creamers. In the one that I've made here there's only 3, but generally there are a few more. It's the same with the sugar. There's usually a few more sugars. Some of the sugars now also look like the creamers, with obviously the same packing but different writing. Obviously says sugar on them instead, but in this particular one I've got these slightly older ones of white sugar, so I've got 3 of those as well. I've got 2 sachets of instant coffee and 1 packet of tea. I've also got 2 packets of hot sauce. So this is purification tablets, so obviously if you need to get water and you're getting it from a stream or a river, you put this in to make sure there's no bacteria or anything in the water that could harm you. Last of all, from the bag we have this plum flavoured jam that can be used on the biscuits that I will show you in a minute. So here are the last of the contents of the ration pack. This contains some more of the snacks and the main meals that you'll be using. First of all, we have the breakfast. Obviously this can be eaten in any order you want, but the suggested meal would be this for breakfast, which is a muesli with milk. So this is powdered milk. You open the top, you boil up the water, you put the water inside the pouch and you wait for it to cook for a little while, and then you get the muesli. Now this can be used with cold water or warm water, so it's more like a porridge. Now all these rations can be eaten cold or with cold water, because if you cannot for some reason heat up the rations, you need to be able to still eat them. So they're all designed and all pre-cooked to be eaten as such. Next we have a vegetable and chickpea biryani. So this can be eaten cold without being heated up. If you do want to heat it up, which is the suggested if you can, you simply fold the sachet in 2 by moving all the food inside the pouch at the bottom and folding in half. You can then place it into a mess tin full of water. You then boil it in it until it's hot. Then once you're ready to eat it, you take the 2 tabs and you rip it off, and then you can eat it like that. So there's no water going into the pouch, you're just heating it up, because this is already hydrated food. So it's not unlike this, which is dehydrated. This is hydrated and it can be eaten without water. So if you want to eat it cold or you can't cook for whatever reason. The next is a 2-part combination of long grain white rice and Raja masala. So these can be eaten together. Again, it can either be cooked in the mess tins with hot water to warm it up, or can be eaten cold. So, and then we have a fortified energy drink powder. Here we have the hot chocolate powder. Sometimes I quite like to put this in with the muesli to make quite a nice sort of cereal porridge type mixture. We have a tropical fruit and nut mix, peanut butter, which is another spread along with the jam that's supplied, that can be used for the biscuits. So we have the biscuit browns, which is just a plain biscuit, and the same with these oats digestive biscuits. Usually they would only have one of these in a ration pack, but for this one I've got two just to show you the two different types of the biscuit brown and the oat based one. So that is the contents of the modern British Army 24-hour ration pack. It is a little bit heavier than the World War II one, because the World War II one is completely dry. There is no moisture in it. So for example, you can see with what I've shown you before, these ones are not dehydrated. So it does add a bit of weight to the ration pack. So we'll now move on to the World War II British Army ration pack. So this is the World War II 24-hour ration pack. I have made this myself, so all the contents are made myself. They can be bought online, but it is a lot more expensive. So not everything in here is entirely accurate. I will point it out as we go along, but it is as good as you can get for a homemade attempt at the box. So just the box itself, as you can see, there's these dotted lines. These aren't actually on the ration pack box. Unfortunately, it was on the back side of the brown paper I used, and when I dipped it in candle wax, it came through. So you just have to ignore that. That is one inaccuracy from the looking at the box itself. Now the box is just a bit of cardboard that I cut to the correct shape and wrapped it in brown paper. It was then dipped in candle wax that I melted down. Traditionally it would be paraffin wax, so I'm not exactly sure what the candle wax is made out of, but it is basically how it is, which is a waxed box, which makes it waterproof. Now around the edge of the box there would be a tight tape that goes round it to make it waterproof. It's a bit like masking tape. For now I haven't put that on here just to not damage the box, but that would be on there and that seals it. So this isn't as waterproof as the British Army ration pack of the modern day, because that is completely sealed in plastic, but this would be resistant to rain and getting slightly damp, maybe not being completely submerged in water. So looking inside, the first thing we have is the instruction pamphlet of the suggested menu. So this tells you what is contained in the ration pack and how to eat it. So for example, if you don't want to cook the items, they can be eaten as the block and the condensed block that they are. You need to eat them slowly, chew well, and drink some water at the same time or soon after, because obviously in these blocks it is very condensed, so it takes a lot of water to properly nourish it down so you can properly consume it. So next on, from the top view, we have got sweets. So we've got a number of boiled sweets here. So from this point here, we can see from on the right we have got these OXO cube blocks. So these are supposed to be meat extract blocks. These are veggie OXO cubes, but it's supposed to make a meat or sort of broth type soup that you can drink. So there are 4 of these. Now these are wrapped in cling film. However, they are supposed to be wrapped in cellophane, which was available during the war. These are wrapped in cellophane, so it would be more like this. There's also some chewing gum that is wrapped in cling film, which is relatively close. If you wanted to be more accurate, you could get the type of packaging you find on any packaged food, like fruit or something like that, and you could cut that to the size and put it round. But for now, I've just used cling film. So here we have 4 blocks of sugar. Nothing to say much about that, that's just your general white sugar blocks. We then have a small packet of salt. We then have some more sweets, so there is quite a lot of sweets in these ration packs, and obviously these can be taken out and carried in the pockets of your uniform to be used throughout the day. So we've now got the biscuits. Now the biscuits are a little bit thin. When I say a little bit, quite a lot thinner than they would be. So I've got a lot more biscuits than there would have been. Now it is quite harder than you thought to get the right biscuits of the right size and thickness. So for now I've just used these. It's basically a bread substitute, the biscuits, and obviously these are more like crackers because they're so thin, so they are the best that I could do. So that is one of the inaccuracies with this ration pack. So at the bottom we have got 2 packs of chewing gum wrapped in cling film and a little bit of sellotape. Next we have 3 bars of chocolate. Now these are all plain chocolate bars, however in the actual ration pack you would have 1 bar of chocolate that is plain, that is infused with minerals and vitamins. So obviously this helps you get back some of the stuff you've lost through like a hard day of marching and all the stuff you have to do as a soldier. So obviously that helps you get those back. And then the 2 other blocks would be raisin chocolate, so just plain chocolate with raisins in. Next off we've got a block of tea. So you can see the wrapping, this is the brown paper. Now because I made this at home, unfortunately I don't have a laser jet printer, so it's just an inkjet printer, so it's a little bit faded and a little bit lighter colour than it would have actually been on the packaging, but that is the best that I could do from something at home. Then we have the meat block. So the meat block in this case it would be made with corned beef, but I have used some veggie soup powder that I've pressed into a type of block with a bit of cardboard around the edge to form it into the proper block shape, and then it's covered in the paper wrapping. And then last of all we have got 2 blocks of oatmeal. So the oatmeal blocks are basically a flapjack, but they're slightly different in the fact that they can be broken down and made into a porridge, which is what they're designed to be eaten as. Otherwise, if you do eat it as a block, you have to drink lots of water as it's stated on the packaging list. So with the tea, this is a block of tea, as you can see. It's cut into 4 and then cut down the middle. Now the way I made it is pouring sugar and ripping a tea bag and putting the tea into a blender with the sugar and some powdered milk that I actually got from the other modern ration pack, using lots of those, and then blended it up so it's a fine powder. Then added water to it and moulded it into a block, and then after that cut it into the right shape. So this, by taking it out and crumbling it up into a pot, you can make a cup of tea with this block, and this should make about 2 cups of tea, and you get 1 of these blocks in each ration pack. So the sweets are just, these particular ones are actually sherbets. They should be just normal boiled sweets. Particularly they are supposed to be non-thirst producing, because obviously if it is thirst producing, that is not good, because you need to be obviously consuming more water when you're doing physical exertion. The chewing gum is just regular supermarket chewing gum, and repackaged. Salt, again, just regular table salt, and then same with the sugar cubes. So that's basically how I made it up, so you can do that yourself. If you did want to eat something like this at an event or a reenactment, historic living history event type thing, you'd be better off making your own. There are places online where you can buy the packaging and the moulds to make these, and that'll be a little bit more accurate, but it is far cheaper to be able to make it yourself and eat that at an event than to keep buying the ration pack as it is from a company. Now, troops would be issued these ration packs, for example, during the D-Day landings. The box was designed to fit in the larger of the two mess tins, and it will be taken into combat, so it's ready to eat straight away. So when they first landed, they could use these ration packs, and they might get 1 or 2 of them to last them 24 to 48 hours. And then after you've lived off this, obviously this is not something that can sustain you for very long, because you need fresh food, obviously. So after these, you then generally get the tin foods to start coming in when the supply lines are set up. After occupying the first part of the territory, you can then get more substantial food, and then after that, the field kitchens can then move in, so they can start cooking you fresh food to feed the soldiers. So obviously you can't live off this type of stuff for very long at all. And it is the same with the modern British Army ration pack. You shouldn't really be eating that type of food for more than 5 days to a week before you need some fresh food to move off that. So that wraps up the video. You can see quite nicely how this is one of the first and earliest sort of examples of a 24-hour ration pack, sort of the beginning of that type of thing, and you can see what it's evolved into and how it's used today. If you would like to see a part 2 to this video where I cook up and use this World War II 24-hour ration pack, and you can see what the items look like outside of the packaging and how it's made, do let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please do consider subscribing.